That is a very nice Ethereum fractal on this ETH chart. And it could be a potential roadmap of what is in store for altcoins. But right now, we have this chart. This is Coinbase. Of all things, Coinbase acting as this potential like leading indicator for altcoin markets. I want to tell the story of what is going on right there. And at the end of the day, I want to just, you know what? I want to say something. If you're an altcoin holder right now, I don't like to speak in certainties when it comes to crypto, but I do want to say this to you. Congratulations. Because I really think, I mean, if you've been holding, if you've been just accumulating altcoins, you're invested in the crypto space on the macro, I genuinely think that what is getting ready to happen is going to pay off very well. And it could all go to zero. I always say that, but I want to show you some headlines, and then we're going to really get into the speculation on these charts as it relates to altcoin markets. Here are the headlines. Keep this in mind. Morgan Stanley expects the Fed to deliver 7 rate cuts in 2026, starting in March, bringing the terminal rate down to 2.5 to 2.75%. You know what has happened? What has happened is really these things that we've been anticipating for a while have really thrown off the 4-year cycles. 4-year cycle theory, in my view, is completely game over. It is no longer. You know, the business cycle has kind of been pushed out a little bit, but these things now are happening. And you know what? They're happening at the confluence of incredibly bullish crypto things. So 2026 in March, rates to start coming down. And we have this. Director of Digital Assets says the U.S. is committed to passing crypto market structure legislation by September. So September, right before we go into Q4, right before the end of the year, and we go into 2026, a year of interest rates coming down. And I would say an economy that is booming and proving itself that it's booming. These things are coming together from a cycle perspective very nice, not necessarily in the timing that we anticipated for this 4-year cycle, but that's because, in my view, the 4-year cycles are no longer. And then we have this crypto to account for real estate mortgages. In line with crypto or President Trump's vision to make U.S. the crypto capital of the world, I've directed Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac to begin treating crypto as an asset for mortgage qualification. This is Bill Pulte. You know what's crazy to me with that is, like 2 years ago, if you were to try and use crypto through the mortgage process, right, as an asset, I mean, they would not only really deny that, they kind of start looking at you like you're like a criminal or something. So this is how quick the pendulum is swinging. And then we have this. Let's get into the technicals of what is going on. This is Coinbase, potential indicator for altcoins. When Coinbase stock pumps, this is Ted over on X, we all know what happens next. So he has kind of the overlay of Coinbase on the total 2 altcoin charts. And this is what Coinbase looks like right now, by the way. And this is what the total 2 chart looks like right now. And I want to break down this story and what is going on. You might have noticed, real quick, today's video has no ads. And that's a shout out and a special thanks to today's sponsor. And the sponsor of today's video is myself. So this is the direction we're heading into, everybody. I'm very excited about it. The sponsor of today's video is not really sponsored, but it's Crypto Capital Venture Intelligence. As we continue to grow this platform, it is helping the community as a whole, not only the members that are in here using these tools and preparing their exits for this cycle, but it's just helping the community as a whole just grow as the crypto space grows. And so I want to just use this chart as we really start talking about altcoins, just to give you a sense of where we are. We are at a moderate buy, a 20, a very low risk score for altcoin markets. I've said time and time again, if you look at our risk model, our proprietary risk model, the altcoin market has not broken out into a bull market yet. And this is what I think is setting up. And yes, it's been delayed. Yes, it's taken longer than people would have wanted. You know, they want that parabolic move within that 4-year cycle range, and it hasn't happened. But when we start looking at our risk model for altcoin market cap, we go over here to Ethereum, because we're going to be looking at Ethereum in today's video. It becomes very clear what's happening right now, the suppression, this accumulation phase for altcoins. And right now, what our members are doing, they're planning, and I'm planning as well, as it relates to risk scores, exits within our exit planners that we have back here. So you can bring up a risk model within our system, and you can set alerts and be alerted when we get to high risk areas. And now is the time to do it. when you have in our risk models, Ethereum at something like a 35, a pre-bull market risk score, now is the time to do this planning. So as we continue to grow this platform, it's going to really help me to, start pivoting this YouTube channel into a new era, a new phase. And I think that's going to be beneficial to everybody, all of you that are out there. And I'm really excited about this, everybody. So if you're not a member back here, go get into our system, 40% off right now. We have more things coming. We are incredibly close to zero. Our AI, you're going to be able to discuss all of this data. This is an autonomous data-driven engine. It will be trained on, if you have exit planners back there, it'll know what's going on, and you can talk about it. You can talk about your strategies with Zero back here in relation to our risk models and everything. So I'm really excited about it. But back to the point, Ethereum just hanging out as far as risk goes, as far as just compression goes. And I wanted to do this. I don't even know. I've been refreshing this every day. I do not know what this is going to do. And this might come back to backfire right now, but either way, it's okay. I want to refresh this page. I've been tracking Ethereum ETF inflows. Yesterday, I don't know what it was yet. I'm going to refresh the page and we're going to see. 2 days ago, it was 98 million. And maybe there's outflows. I don't know. I'm telling you, this might backfire. But long story short, no matter what this says, and we're about to scroll down and see, I will tell you one thing. It is incredibly clear based on data that institutions are positioning, okay? And I just talked about this yesterday, so let's go see. Boom, 55 million. 55 million Ethereum, $55 million worth of Ethereum for BlackRock yesterday. Total inflows of 60 million for Ethereum inflows yesterday. So keep this in mind as we go. Smart money is accumulating right now Ethereum. This is weird because I don't do this often, but this is a 4-hour fractal on the Ethereum chart just because, and I'm going to look at the Coinbase correlation with altcoins, is I saw a very similar type of, structure back here, and I like to do this. And right now I took that fractal and I put it over here on the 4-hour, and it will become more just kind of useful when I start talking to you about what's happening on the daily chart. So just keep that in mind. So the 4-hour fractal, just to give you a sense that we're going to dissect on the daily, is basically back here, right? I took that and what's happening here. But first, before I do that on the Ethereum chart, it's going to be useful, I think. I want to go to Coinbase. Here's what's going on Coinbase. Obviously breaking out in recent days, but the correlation is what's happening on the altcoin chart. So this is total 2. I showed you this post by Ted on X. It's the same thing going on right here on this chart. If we go to total 2, this is what it's looking like. And you can just scroll back and it gets messy. I don't know I can't adjust this. I don't know what I'm doing wrong in TradingView. But if you just look at the correlation on this chart, it is something else. And it is very convincing. And there are no guarantees that this is going to play out. But when we have data like this, I think it's always useful to pay attention to this data, right? And this is just one thing. So the question is, are we about to get an altcoin breakout? Look at this. This is the total 2, once again, this chart, everything excluding Bitcoin. And if altcoins can manage to break to the upside, I could see very clearly with all of these moving averages and the compression of the moving averages, I can see very clearly how a breakout could happen very quickly. A very good example is last time we had such compression on this chart, guess what happened? An explosion to the upside. And maybe we don't get it, okay? Please be prepared. We have resistance. This is a resistance area. If you put aside the Coinbase leading indicator and you just look at this chart, we have resistance on the altcoin chart. So it's just something to keep in mind. We're there right now. But Ethereum does a very good job of kind of painting that picture. Here's the daily chart. Let me zoom in on the daily chart. I showed you the fractal on the 4-hour. It would be phenomenal to see that move happen. But what I wanted to show you on the Ethereum chart is this. We saw it kind of on the altcoin chart, the moving averages compressing together. Look at this confluence of moving average resistance on Ethereum. It is resistance. So we need to treat this as resistance. We might go lower. We might have to put in a higher low from this June swing low, right? Earlier in June, this is not earlier in June. This is a daily chart. So this is June 22nd, right? But we might have to put in a higher low of that move. And if that's the case, The fractal I have on the 4 hour, very much in play. You can just see it consolidated before the next move up. We have time on the very short term for Ethereum. But going back to the daily, maybe we get some resistance and then we're breaking back to the upside. If we break these moving averages, I am becoming more and more convinced of this multi-year move. I anticipated the breakdown, the pullback to test the triangle. We got resistance, anticipated, higher low is in formation. I think there's a strong likelihood Ethereum breaks into this apex. And that 4 hour fractal does a very nice job of, potentially telling that story. And we have that Coinbase data, right? But going back to the daily, let's do this. I know I'm looking at a lot of upside. I'm talking very bullish. Anything can happen. I do want to continue just to remind you all, and we've been talking about this, swing low to the swing high resistance. It is continually in play. This is what I call on a daily chart, like kind of fail-safe support. So if Ethereum starts falling, I'm still looking at the support Fibonacci around $1,900 to around $1,700. I don't know. I do not know which way this is going to go. I'm just tracking the data with you. I try at the beginning of the video to lay the case on why I'm so bullish right now on crypto. And at the end of the day, when we're tracking shorter term price action, it's obviously, so volatile. I mean, it's volatile in the macro, but it's very volatile in the short term. So let's anticipate potential higher low, right? More just downside over days or weeks to the downside is in play. But if Ethereum breaks this area, and we are right there, $2,500, really, it's literally all in $2,500 range, all of these three key moving averages. And if you zoom out on this chart, it is, it's very rare to get these compressions, right? Check out this. There's some compression of all those moving averages right there. And the bottom was almost in there. We go back, we can kind of look, just last cycle, try and just find these areas where all these moving averages are just squeezed together. And it appears oftentimes they're at the beginning of very big moves, right? We can see right here, there's kind of a squeezing happening, but I'm telling you, this red line, we were about to enter quantitative tightening season, and we were entering that season. And also all of these crypto companies falling apart, failing, Celsius, FTX. It's a different time, everybody. So Ethereum painting really nice roadmap for us on the altcoin charts. Obviously, every day it is just nonstop when it comes to patience. And you know what? I'll leave you with this, and you tell me if you agree. I posted this yesterday. I was just having some fun last night. Tell me if you feel like this or not, if you're an altcoin holder. Let's check this out real quick.
Altcoin season, any day now. Any day.
That's how I feel. If you feel that way as well, hit the subscribe if you're not a subscriber. Smash that like button. I appreciate all of you. Again, CCV Intelligence, get in there. Join our members. We are growing this thing, and there are so many ridiculously cool features that we are building right now, and I appreciate all of you that are checking us out. So 40% off right now. Get in there. Start planning your cycles and your strategy for these cycles. I'll see you all in the next video. God bless.